let's get into our first topic of the afternoon, man. With the NFL season going on, there's a lot of storylines. It's been a long ass off season. I feel like this one's been longer than usual because it's just like maybe because the White Sox have been bad, but I'm not going to harp on them as much as I probably could. But now it's back, and there's a whole bunch of storylines getting into this offseason. So number one, we coming off the Kansas City Chiefs winning their second Super Bowl in the last 4 years after beating the Philadelphia Eagles this past February, man. And the question that's been going around are the Kansas City Chiefs a dynasty? And if not, will this year's championship make them a dynasty, man? Who wants to tackle this one first?
No, they're not a dynasty yet, fam. We moved the goalpost so much on the dynasty shit that is crazy. And I think we moved the goalpost because we feel like if it doesn't happen in our era, we got to move it so it could look like it happened in our era. Ain't no back-to-back happen yet, fam. Once they get a back-to-back ring, then it's a dynasty. That's the only thing that we waiting on. Other than that, they damn near have everything that we're looking for. But they got to get that back-to-back. San Francisco got their back-to-back. Dallas got their back-to-back. The Pittsburgh Steelers got their back-to-back. The team that I don't want to talk about got a back-to-back. They need that. And once they get that, they'll be a dynasty, fam. And you should want to see them get the back-to-back too to make it a dynasty.
See, I think if they just win another one in the next season or two, I think that quantifies as a dynasty. I mean, think about what the Giants did in 2010, 2012, 2014. That was a dynasty. I think if the Chiefs can absolutely win another one the next season or two, I think 3 and 5 or 6 years, it's got to quantify and qualify as a dynasty.
No, I think when it comes to the dynasty, I'm with Bang. I need a back-to-back championship. That's something that unless you have a really like dominant run like the Patriots, which is something we'll probably never see again. But in order for you to really be considered a dynasty, I need those back-to-back championships. And so I think with the Chiefs, they have the potential to be, one of the greatest runs in our, I don't want to say in our lifetime because it's still ongoing and Pat is so young. So we really don't know where this is going to go. So potentially they could be one, but right now, until they get that back-to-back, I would say no.
No, I agree. In order for it to be a dynasty, you have to have back-to-back seasons. You have to be able to show that. I mean, if not, then you're looking at something, do y'all consider what the Blackhawks did in 2010, that through that era, do you consider that a dynasty? I mean, it was broken up. No. We remember that as great years. Like it was a 5-6 year run, but that wasn't a dynasty. I need back-to-back. I really need, in order for me to consider something a dynasty, you need 3 championships in a 4-year window, with 2 of them having to be back-to-back. If you fuck up on the 3rd year, cool, we get it. Then you come back the next one. You know what I'm saying? And win it. So I agree. I mean, it's a high standard, but it has been accomplished before. And, we can't lower it. Like Bang was saying, we can't lower the goalpost and move it back or move it forward, just because we're thirsty to see that in this era. So I agree with y'all. I don't think so unless they win it this year.
Now, dynasty is supposed to be hard too. See, that's the thing.
Very true.
Yeah.
Like this is supposed to be difficult. Like when you look at other sports, it's difficult. I don't give a damn who you playing. It's difficult to win 8 championships in a row. It's difficult to win 3 in a row. It's difficult to win 2 in a row. Dynasties are supposed to be different. There are great runs, then there are dynasties. And to me, I think the NFL is the one who put this here, because when you look at every dynasty that they love to talk about, it involves a back-to-back. And when you have, I guess you could say that the New England Patriots is the greatest dynasty in football history now. Like, look at that.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
It's hard for me to not make that what it is because of what I've seen in now 41 years of living.
Yeah, I think this the whole conversation about dynasty. It's kind of like Bang, we talked about on Summer Sessions not too long ago. People like crowning shit way too fucking early. And I think it's something that, that, like you said, dynasty is supposed to be hard. This is something where it's not supposed to be everybody has one. And if you even look in basketball, Everybody wants to give the Spurs a dynasty. The Spurs are a really good team. They had a great run. They are not a fucking dynasty. If you're champion, if you win a championship and you get knocked off the mountain every other year, that's not a dynasty. Like, you have to at least get one. If they'd have won in like 2004, the year that the Pistons won, that'd have been back-to-back shit. It would have been three people in 03, 04, 05. That's a dynasty. If you look at the history of the game, and like in basketball, I only think it's a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? Basketball, you've got obviously Russell Celtics. That was sacrilegious. Russell Celtics, the Showtime Lakers. You got Jordan's Bulls. You got the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, and then you got the Golden State Warriors. Those are the only dynasties, you know. So with the NFL, it's the same thing. Like you said with the Blackhawks, we enjoyed the Blackhawks run. That ain't no damn dynasty. Shout out to Tim in the chat. He said the Blackhawks were absolutely a dynasty. He lost the wagon. That was Vancouver in 2011 and made it to the West Conference Finals in 2014. Could have easily won more. Bowman had trade away some good players.
Hey.
I'm gonna tell you what Leimert Park legend Moesha once said. Almost doesn't count.
Hey, man. Hey. Nice run. We was around here happy. Black folks was around here talking about some I love hockey, but it ain't no dynasty, fam. And it's a lot of ifs in that. Look, just if you want to blame somebody for it not being a dynasty, blame Bowman. All right, blame the Canucks. But it's not a dynasty, fam. It's a great
Almost
run.
Don't count, bro. Almost don't count,
Really,
bro. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Was this far, honestly, for dynasties? I didn't realize that y'all were so united in your opposition to the Chiefs dynasty.
I'm not even gonna lie. I thought I was gonna be the only one that was like, no, it's not a dynasty because the TV.
I thought I was.
I mean, it is a dynasty.
Some solidarity in here. There was none of that.
Now, and you know what though? I love the Chiefs and I love what they're doing. I just think that, and Scott said it. I think that people tend to move the goalposts because they want something in that era to say like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, fam, like. It's okay, man. Like when you look at the 70s in basketball, fam, the 70s in basketball almost don't even exist to niggas. Like it's 1981 and that's it. But when you go actually look at the 70s, look at those, ain't no dynasty that year. It was just a whole bunch of niggas winning. And you don't see nobody in the 70s trying to make a dynasty out of somebody. Like you don't see nobody in the 70s like, man, I don't know, man. You know, them Milwaukee Bucks was kind of something. Like, nah, man. Like, it didn't hit like that. All of y'all was winning. Congratulations. Shouts out to the Washington Bullets. You know?
Yeah. I think all of us being from Chicago play. I think all of us being from Chicago plays into it as well because we saw 2 3-peats. Like even though we were shorties when it happened, I think that's an undeniable dynasty. That's some shit where it's like, okay, there was no question about that team's dominance in that era. Like they had 100%, they had position, but they like I said, they went to 6 and they won 6. That's a dynasty.
They're stamped. They're the gold standard. That's what a dynasty is to me. You know, if not, then you just got a bunch of, you got a bunch of people, like the Dodgers, for example. Take, for example, the Dodgers. They're the gold standard. Are they building a dynasty? Yeah. Well, they won a Mickey Mouse World Series during the pandemic, but every other year it was short, So how can that be a dynasty?
Hey, yo, what's the Mickey Mouse? What's the Mickey Mouse
I
ring?
resent that.
Hey, I mean, you know what it is. Ain't no fans, ain't no pressure. They had cardboards. They had cardboards of Scott over there in left center field. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't no real pressure. That ain't no real pressure. They piping in the crowd noise and stuff. Come on, it's different. It's different.
This is the thing, man. This is the thing. It's like you need the fans. Like I hate when people say, and people think I'm just saying this because I'm anti-LeBron, which is not. I just said this don't matter who the fuck won. Yeah. The crowd matters. You had dudes who were like having career highs because there were nobody in the crowd.
Hey, shouts out! Hey, don't you diss the GOAT TJ Warren like that? I see what's going on.
What has TJ Warren done?
TJ Warren is one of the greatest NBA players of all time, fam.
To be on the injured reserve list.
That man got his check and sat his ass down.
The pandemic showed y'all, man. TJ Warren is one of the greatest NBA players of all time, fam. If it ain't no fans, if it's just us, we hooping in the intramural gym, come on, man. Get TJ Warren a rock.
I mean, I kind of just look at it as like, it's supposed to be distractions. It's supposed to be distractions. That's part of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying the Lakers wouldn't have won. They were a great team up until the actual shutdown. I remember actually that little, a couple game thing with LeBron and them knocked off the Bucks, they knocked off the Clippers, and they knocked off somebody else right before the shutdown happened. So I'm not saying they wouldn't have won, but to act like that's not part of it is part of it. And that's the same thing with the Dodgers, and that's the same thing with all these other teams. It's like we're using too many excuses when it comes to these sports. And so when we come to the Chiefs, what they've done the last couple of years has been incredible. I don't think they're a dynasty yet. They win this year, they 100% will be. And that's back-to-back. That's 3 out of 4 or 5 years right now. And that's something where we haven't seen that since the Patriots. And I'm talking about the first Patriot team that actually repeated, the Teddy Bruschi, all of them guys. That's the standard right there that for me is a dynasty. You can have great teams, but to use that actual word, and you got to do a little bit more in my opinion. So, but we can talk about that forever, man. Let's talk about, rookie QB starters, man. We got a lot of rookies out here starting. Shout out to Matt Nagy, who thought that Justin could learn behind Andy Dalton. But we got CJ Stroud over there in Houston. He's going to be the starter for the Texans this season. Anthony Richardson has not only been the starter, he's been named one of the captains for the Indianapolis Colts. And of course, in Carolina, it is the number 1 draft pick, Bryce Young, as the the starting quarterback over there in Carolina, man. Mikey, what do you think about this just throwing them out into the fire?
I'm actually kind of loving it because this is how everything is right now in society. It's a microwave era. We want instant success. We want an instant return on our investment. I mean, all of those teams, the Panthers, the Colts, and the Texans, they all gave up something to acquire those quarterbacks. I mean, you have to see what they got now. I mean, it's something that we're going to get into, eventually, in this pod and in the weeks to come when we talk about Justin Fields. But you don't get, you get up to year 3 in your rookie contract before they need to decide if you're the guy or not, or if we got to start making adjustments. So why waste time? If, in the case of the Panthers and in the case of the Texans, more than likely they're going to be asked and probably in the top 10 next year in next year's draft, just because of the parts around them, similar to what we saw in Chicago last year. All of those teams downsized. They didn't tank because it's very hard to tank in football, but they went ahead and they trimmed resources and they got money and they're adding to build around this QB in the next couple years. By year 3, they need to know, the Colts need to know, is Anthony Richardson a guy, or are we going to need to, start looking at a veteran quarterback or be right back in the draft? So I like it. It's trial by fire. They're going to take their lumps. But at the end of the day, what quarterback doesn't take their lumps? Whether they're a veteran, whether they're a rookie, they're going to get their head kicked in. And the only way you learn and you get better is by playing.
Yeah, year one, decent. Year 2, you decent. Year 3, oh no, you hella decent. That's the conversation right there. If by year 3 you like, man, dude, decent, but you got to start asking questions, man. And to your point about that tanking, and the Arizona Cardinals want to have a conversation about that. They're about to set the new standard about tanking right there in Arizona because they tanking for Caleb Williams. So, hey, look, when it comes to Phoenix or Arizona, whatever, they're about to set the new standard. But with that new standard, look at the contract that Kyler Murray just got. Mm-hmm. And you can't find yourself even in that situation. So it's a gift and a curse to all of this because Kyler Murray ended up being what they thought was going to be the guy. And then he ended up tearing his ACL, but he really is the person that does it with his legs. And he ain't really going to have that all year. And then you got one of the best quarterback prospects ever. Hey, man, you don't want to find yourself in a situation like the Cardinals and what they got to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the thing that to me sticks out the most when you see all these different quarterbacks that are taking over for the rookies is the different change in philosophy, which is needed because I think the model of having a fucking vet, like what's the point? And I'm not saying that these vets, they can't learn anything from them, but it's just like, especially if you're a franchise like the Indianapolis Colts, where the Indianapolis Colts are they're not going to be doing shit this year. Let's just keep it 100% a buck of what's going to happen with them. They're not going to be shit. You might as well just throw him out there, get his lumps out there, make him go out there, throw some interceptions, make him go out there and feel everything that's going to come with being a quarterback. Because if you don't, and then you put together a team that might be competitive for the next year, then you got to look at it like, okay, now he still has to go through those bumps in year 2, which is something that, as we even see as Bears fans, something that kind of happened with Justin a little bit, man. And I feel like the quicker you throw them in there, the quicker, one, you can see what kind of quarterback you got, and 2, the quicker, even if they are what you expect them to be, they can just get the lumps out the way. So I personally like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, more than anything, you want to start that clock early, because when you start that clock, even if they're bad, that's not necessarily bad for you, because now you know that you need a new quarterback, and 2, because you're not winning games, you're probably going to be in a position to get that quarterback. So, and as far as the whole sitting behind a vet, I think that you should only do that if you have a quality vet for that quarterback to sit behind. If it's not somebody where they're picking up good habits, they're picking up good steady habits in the QB room, then no, you don't. Like you said, having Justin sit behind Nick Folk or anybody like that was dumb. That was nothing to really, benefit from that when they're 2 completely different quarterbacks. And, and that's also somebody who didn't have an extreme track record of success. So I think starting that clock, that's what we're going to keep seeing. I think it started in our era really with, Andrew. I want to say Andrew Luck was the first quarterback that they really drafted and just threw him in there. Like, we're not doing none of this sitting, because that was even, with Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre.
Yeah, y'all era, because they threw Peyton Manning ass out there.
They threw Peyton Manning out there to sink or swim. He got killed that first year, man. He was taking an Andrew Luck type of beating.
Yeah,
and throwing hella picks.
Yeah, but I think those anomalies, like players who like just went right in there, that's what really changed the mode, because that was never the case traditionally. But when you had those guys who, like, it's pretty much like if you had the talent, you got the talent, like. And so we're going to find out. And so you had guys like Peyton who, he set the rookie interception record, but then you saw year 2, year 3, how he just completely changed the way he was as a player. So like at the end of the day, you got to put him out there.
No, I get it, because if my bad, but if Nathan Peterman is the quarterback with Justin Fields, what the fuck is Justin Fields going to learn from Nathan Peterman? What the fuck can he teach? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, you gave up all this to go and get that quarterback, and you got Nathan Peterman standing there with his big ass head and a clipboard. Like, that's what he's supposed to teach Justin Fields? Come on, man. Justin Fields got more talent in his pinky than Nathan Peterman.
Nathan Peterman is like so bad they make you think maybe I can play quarterback. Like that's how bad he is. Like, he must be a really nice guy, because when he didn't make the roster, and then Ryan Poles came out like, yeah, we really hope we can add him to the practice squad. Like, what do you mean? It's not going to be a bidding war for this dude. Like, he will be there. Like, there's no way about it. No way around it. Courtney, what do you think about the new influx of young talent just coming out the gate with it?
I mean, well, first things first, Roll Tide. I'm an NFC South girl, you know that. So I hope that Bryce Young thrives, just from a personal perspective. But maybe not too much, maybe don't fly too close to the sun. I do feel really bad for Anthony Richardson, though. I don't know if y'all heard the Colts GM talk about trying to be, kind of sneaky, passive aggressive when somebody asked him if they thought that Jonathan Taylor not playing, not starting the season with Anthony Richardson would hinder his growth. And he made the comment, something along the lines of, oh, well, did it interfere or hinder Andrew Luck's growth? And we all just collectively sighed, right? Because we watched it happen. Andrew Luck was 29, 30 when he retired?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good look. They say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We've watched how many different Colts QBs go through this same sort of just stunted. They're like the angels of the NFL. They're the angels of the NFL. It's awful.
You never want to be compared to the Anaheim Angels of anything. Shout out my homie Damien if he is listening to this or watching this. I apologize. And this comes from a White Sox fan. You know how bad you got to be for a White Sox fan to feel bad for you?
Wait a minute, he's a fan of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim?
The only Angels fan I've ever met in my life.
The only Angels fan I ever met. And this is the thing too, which is crazy to me. On purpose. And what is crazy to me is this is first of all, they shouldn't be called Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Let's be very clear about that. These motherfuckers are in Orange County. All right. Yeah. It is a 45-minute. Yeah, it's a 45-minute ride, if okay, traffic to Los Angeles County. So he used to stay in Long Beach. It's like 20 minutes from Long Beach. So that's why he started watching them, and they
I
have
don't
wasted.
give a fuck, fam. That's
He ain't have
me.
WGN. He ain't have
Fam,
WGN.
the only if you would have said, "Hey, look, he like Angels in the outfield," then I would have been like, you know what, that's dope. But you didn't say that. You didn't say that. You just said this man lived 20 minutes away. You know what? Nah, Jack, that's not a good reason to be a fan of that franchise. Hey, fam, who? Come
On
on,
purpose.
on purpose. Who do
There's
that?
2 baseball teams in like a 20 like square mile, and you choose
Them.
And they call it the freeway series. Like that's a long ass freeway. To like
Yeah, the free Ray Rick Ross series. Because
nigga, that's
if you're
like
going for that team, you on cocaine.
that's an hour and a half, bro. If you taking the freeway from fucking Anaheim to motherfucking Dodger Stadium, it's at least an hour and a half. Like easily in okay traffic, man. But let's move on to our third storyline before we get into like our nice little QB tiers, man. I want to talk about the slow death of the running back. We saw everything that happened this offseason. Saquon took forever to get his deal, which really wasn't that good. Josh Jacobs held out for a long time. Jonathan Taylor's being held hostage by that coke addict in Indianapolis. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm gonna get a spotlight to Mikey on this one, man. Mikey, what's your take on these running backs, dog?
I mean, sadly, I agree with the way the model has gone in the NFL as far as it comes to drafting a running back, running him into the ground as a rookie. Once his rookie contract is up, drafting another one. But I think it's just because of how the game has gone, as the majority of the league has gone to this spread offense and to utilizing the running backs more as pass catchers. It's just their value is kind of it is what it is. They have a shelf life of 3 years, and then that's it. I mean, what really burned the running backs, honestly, is the Ezekiel Elliott contract, because he did not live up to that contract that Jerry Jones gave him. And everybody in the league saw that. And a lot of these owners, for as much shit as they give Jerry Jones, they listen to him. He walks into those meetings and he's the big boss. So he got burned by the Ezekiel Elliott contract, and they said, nope, not no more. I mean, look at the Todd Gurley contract. Nope, not no more. What's the point? What's the point if the Bears drafted David Montgomery in, I believe, the 3rd or the 4th round, correct?
Yeah,
solid.
I think like 3rd or 4th round.
Right, 3rd or 4th round pick. Solid. Run them, nice, workhorse, boom, show up. Well, what else do? They draft a running back in the 5th round. Go back to before that. The running back before that was Jordan Howard, drafted in the 5th round. Use him. They let him go to Philly, out of the league immediately after about 2 years. So that's just the way the league is going. I mean, wide receivers are the new running backs. To back what it was in the 90s, how everybody wanted a running back, the wide receivers are that now.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, when you look at a lot of schemes, when they started to go to the Thunder and Lightning and the 2 running back system, that made a lot of coaches realize, wait a minute, we don't have to, run like the bulk of the carries through one guy if I got 2 guys. And with running back being such a premier position for athletes, you're always going to have a running back. So there's always going to be kids coming up that want to play running back, that want to be that next guy. And so when you look at the schemes these days, like you said, pass catching is a big asset now. But even if you're just strictly a running back like a David Montgomery, who was, he was pretty solid between the tackles. But like we all saw, when they brought in a scheme where they really wanted to throw the ball to their running back, it wasn't a fit for him. So it's like, no, we're not going to pay you. We're going to just get rid of you and draft somebody else, because there is essentially an unlimited number of athletes that want to play running back. And I think that's something that goes along with, in our culture, growing up, you had Barry Sanders, we worship Walter Payton. You had all these guys who played at that position who were the premier guy. And so I think it's going to take more of the Odell Beckhams and the guys who are really, dominant wide receivers to get that switch, because you still, like to this day, you have, like prime example, the Atlanta Falcons, they drafted Bijan. Bijan's going to be an animal. And if he's smart, after year 2, he'll hold out like, no, I need another contract, because that's what they do to running backs. You see how it's going, and it's not going to change no time soon.
Yeah. Shout out Robert Knox in the chat. He says Le'Veon Bell too. I almost forgot about Loud Pat
Yep.
Le'Veon.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about Buddy. I mean, like you said, Mike. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. It's fucked up, but in the words of Avon Barksdale, dog, the game is the game, and that's just really how the game is right now. There's no point of giving max money to a running back, no matter how good they are. Whether it's a Dalvin Cook in the good season that he had with the Vikings the last couple years, it's just no point of just giving them that money. In my personal opinion.
Well, you know what? I disagree to a point. I think that injuries with key people have definitely made people who it made people think about giving money to running backs. But you also look at, I think more than anything is not necessarily injuries. It's been people that has been good when you find them in the late rounds because you don't have to pay them that. I think running backs fail at being they fail because they're one dimensional. The best running backs need to be somebody who can catch the ball, can run, can block. They have to do more than one thing. And I think we have a lot of running backs out here that's just one dimensional. You got to take him out and bring somebody in because he can't pass block worth shit. You got to bring somebody in to bring this person in because they can't catch. And then they end up getting injured and stuff like that. But it's going to look, I think it's going to take Bijan Robinson being able to do all of those things to change the mind of general managers, because at the end of the day, all of these shits happen in spurts. So like this generation right here is the generation that don't give a fuck about being a running back. I grew up wanting to be a running back. But then if Bijan Robinson is successful, then we're going to have some GMs like, oh man, I think we need to go ahead and get Buddy. But they just have to be more than just a one-trick pony. You need to be able to run. You need to be able to pass block. You need to be able to catch. You need to be able to play wide receiver on occasions. And that way you can maximize whatever you're getting, because sometimes playing those other roles is going to make you stay healthy because you ain't got to run through these holes in the damn offensive line like that. But like, be real. Let's ask this. I'll ask this question to y'all. Who is the best running back in the league that has all of those qualities? Like the best three-dimensional running back in the NFL is
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, probably run CMC. That's probably who it is. I was going, you say everything, it can't be Derrick Henry. So it would have to be.
That's my point. Yeah. Derrick Henry, for all of the greatness he do between the tackles and stiff arming, if you try to throw this nigga the ball, it's a crapshoot. Crapshoot. And then he runs so upward, even though this nigga is bigger than everybody. Fam, wait to get to the later end of the season in the postseason. In the postseason, they be cracking his ass, Jack. It's like he wear you down during games, but you wear him down throughout the season. Then it's the first week of the playoffs, and you think the Tennessee Titans is gonna do something, and then next thing you know, some damn safety come and crack his ass. It's like, hey, Derrick Henry's out for the game. It's like, fam, what the fuck? Because he's worn down now.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely true, and I think it's gonna influence kids. Like if I'm a kid coming up, I don't want to fucking play running back, which is one of the positions that a lot of people wanted to play coming up, was being a running back. One thing before we move on, go ahead.
But you know when I stopped wanting to be a running back though?
What was this?
Kajana Carter. Go look it up. Kajana Carter in like the first preseason game tore his ACL, and I was like, nah, I'd rather play linebacker. I'm straight because you back in that day, fam, your running back to his ACL, fam, it was a wrap for you and the season.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about the team. Like Cincinnati was in that bitch like crying. Like, fuck, it's over.
I'ma just leave you out with this. There hasn't been a Pro Bowl running back on a Super Bowl winning team since Marshawn did it with the Legion of Boom and Seattle in 2013. If y'all even want to raise the standards more, there hasn't been an all-pro running back to win a Super Bowl since Marshall Faulk. So like let's be real. It takes like they said it, it takes a village. There hasn't been a team to win a Super Bowl with the focus of the offense being a running back. Like, and that's just what it is. You need 2 to 3 guys. Look at last year, man. They had Isaiah Pacheco, bro. I swear that I don't know what he was on, what his parents put in his food and his maduros and his plátano maduros. That shit had to have a little crack, because that is one hype ass Dominican. Folks be out there looking crazy, running through walls. But that is a 5th, 6th round pick from Rutgers. You know what I'm saying? And now he's the starting as a rookie, and they won a Super Bowl. He's getting meaningful carries in the Super Bowl. Like, that's what it is. It's just rinse and repeat. Next man up mindset.